Alrighty, guys, we are live. Wow, we are live. You guys have not seen this face for quite some time. Um, but man, what a game today, right? What a game today. We have the Atlanta Falcons at 1 o'clock. Should be starting in about an hour. Right now, it's almost 12 o'clock. We got 15 minutes to 12. I just wanted to do a quick really just get my thoughts out on this game and really just my expectations for this game. So if you're watching this and you're not part of the live stream, perfectly fine. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like below, follow us on Twitter. The link will be in the description. So do that for your boy. Now, with today, obviously today's game means everything, right? Today's Eli Manning day. Right now, the Giants were 0-2. You can make the argument that we should be 1-1, if not 2-0, but it's not. It's the cards that we were dealt. And when you look at the New York Giants right now, the defense has been it's been non-existent, man. I mean, we've been trying to figure out this offense. Saquon Barkley's getting more in the mix. We haven't seen Kadarius Toney, our first round pick, on the field, so it's definitely been frustrating. But I do think that with how Washington came, how the Washington game went, the New York Giants offense definitely played a lot better. What's going on, Blue City Empire Sports? We are going to get this dub, man. I'm telling you, we are going to get this dub for Eli. By the end of today, we will be 1-2. I'm very excited. I wish I could make it. I live in Florida, so obviously I couldn't make it out there. But this is a really important game, man, and I really do think that we have to win this for Eli, because if the Giants were to lose this game, outside of what this means, for Eli Manning's retirement, it doesn't make it look too good. But at least with the loss, it doesn't. But you can pretty much kiss the playoffs goodbye, and it sucks that we're in this position. In week 3 already. But like I said, it's the cards that we were dealt. Now, we have quite a few players that are out, actually. I'm going to pull up the inactives. So Atlanta's inactives, which these are some big names here. So we got Russell Gage, who's pretty much considered wide receiver 2 for the Atlanta Falcons. We have cornerback 1, which is AJ Terrell. He is going to be out. That is huge for the New York Giants. I have to see the New York Giants take advantage of that because when you think about it, they're going to put their number 2, which is going to be their number 1, on Kenny Galladay. Then you're going to be able to have players like Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton get open because they're going to be going against 3s and 4s. So I expect a big game from Sterling Shepard. I expect a big game from Darius Slayton. But with AJ Terrell being out, that's huge. Now, we also have former New York Giants running back Wayne Gallman out. Wayne Gallman, I mean, I would have loved to have him, in the stadium, being at Eli Manning's retirement speech. He was here while Eli was here, but, it sucks to see Wayne Gallman not in there. But Mike Davis and Cordell Patterson, they're 2 studs, man. So the Giants have to be on their P's and Q's, especially with Cordell Patterson, because not only can he be effective in the kick return and punt return, but they're also using him as a running back. They're also using him in the receiver way. So there's a lot of different ways that Atlanta could get creative with Cordero Patterson. So it's good to see that those are really the 2 main backs that are going to be going into this game. They also have tight end Parker Hesse, defensive lineman John Kaminsky, never heard of him, and wide receiver Frank Darby. But honestly, right now the New York Giants have quite a few things that they have to focus on their own. We don't have Nick Gates right now. We don't have, and that sucks to say, man. I mean, because I thought the offensive line played decent with Nick Gates in the rotation. Prayers up for Nick Gates. But this offensive line has to, especially the interior, has to really hold up if Daniel Jones wants to be effective in this game. I know that they have Grady Jarrett on the other side, who is good on the interior. But outside of that, Atlanta has a poor defense. They are averaging, I believe it's 35 points a game that they're giving up. So far in the first 2 weeks, they gave up over 40 points last week to Tampa Bay. Matt Ryan is looking like a statue back there. Their offensive line is very questionable. Outside of Calvin Ridley and outside of Kyle Pitts, they don't really have too many targets to go to. And I really do think that the Giants can't be playing this soft shell zone that they've been trying to do the last 2 weeks. It hasn't been working. We saw it not work against the Washington football team. Terry McLaurin, Ricky Seals-Jones, Logan Thomas, they were going up and down the field on us, picking up these little chunk yards. And the Giants can't do that. The Pitts will kill us if that is the case. Calvin Ridley, look, Calvin Ridley went to my high school. I watched Calvin Ridley and played with Calvin Ridley, and that kid is a monster. To this day, one of the fastest people I have personally seen with my own two eyes on a field. Um, and he's a monster. He's an excellent route runner. He hardly ever drops the ball. He's got very good speed on him. So I can definitely see a player like a Dory Jackson or James Bradbury being on him. I personally would want a Dory Jackson on him just because Calvin Ridley has more speed. Um, and I do feel that, with the player that has that kind of speed, you want to put a Dory Jackson on them because a Dory Jackson definitely has that, quick speed to him. Now, my biggest question, I guess, would be how can the New York Giants take advantage of this defense? And I really do think that it comes down to the trenches. We have to take advantage of the ball. Excuse me. We have to take advantage of that defense. I apologize. Because, like I said, the defense is poor. Defense is very poor. That's been their biggest issue. Really, offensively, they're not a bad team. Matt Ryan, a lot of people are saying that he's old, he's washed. I hear you, but he can still sling the ball. He can still sling the ball, and he's a player that's been in this league for a long time. So there's not a lot of coverages and packages that he has not seen. So to me, that's really one thing that the Giants have to be aware of. If you can contain Matt Ryan, shut down Kyle Pitts because that's going to be his go-to. I actually went back and watched the two games from Atlanta when they played the Eagles, when they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Matt Ryan is really his go-to target is Kyle Pitts. And Kyle Pitts is a stud. Don't get me wrong. Kyle Pitts is a stud, but I'm very interested to see who the New York Giants place on Kyle Pitts. I'd like to see a player like either Jabril or Xavier McKinney on him. I really think Xavier McKinney might do a little bit better, considering that Xavier McKinney is a little bit better in coverage than Jabril Peppers is. But one thing I do want to see from the New York Giants is the New York Giants have to get Darius Slayton involved more, as well as Kadarius Toney. I really do think that if a player like Darius Slayton can break loose in this game, what's going on, Nate Talk Sports? I think that if a player like Darius Slayton can get loose in this game and if he can catch a ball, he should have a big game. He should have a big game because he's going against fours, if not threes, at a best case scenario. But I really do think that the New York Giants have a strong chance of winning this game. Now, if they don't win this game, there's going to be a lot of issues in New York, man. A lot of issues in New York. I don't think this team is quitting on Joe Judge at all. That's not what I see. I don't think that this team is not buying into the culture that Joe Judge is trying to instill. But it's very hard to instill the kind of culture that Joe Judge is trying to instill if you're not winning. So that's definitely something the New York Giants have to do. The Giants have to win this game. This is the season right here. They have to win this game. I think we'd be having a different discussion if the New York Giants would have won against Washington, because then at that point, you're saying to yourself, well, we're 1-1 right now. If we beat Atlanta, we're 2-1, and now we're going on a roll. But even with us being 1-2, if we were to win this game, which I do have us winning this game, the New York Giants, with how this division is, and them including the extra game into the schedule and an extra playoff team, the playoffs aren't dead. They're not dead at all, and we should have beaten Washington. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, I do like Nate Talk Sports that Kenny Galladay and Evan Ingram will be playing. I want to see Evan Ingram. I don't want to see him being the third tight end, because that means they're going to be using him in some blocking packages, and we can't really have that. And we've seen Joe Judge try to slowly incorporate players that are coming off the injury report into the offense. But I do think that Evan Ingram has to be involved, because Evan Ingram is absolutely a difference maker. And I know that we all have our opinions on Evan Ingram. I personally don't think the New York Giants should re-sign Evan Ingram, even if he has a great year this year. He just can't stay healthy, and that's really it for me. And he hasn't really been healthy his entire career here. So I just don't feel like he has I don't think he's proved yet that he's deserving of a second contract, at least with the New York Giants. But Evan Ingram has to get involved. I want to see a big game from Kenny Galladay. I really do. I really want to see Kenny Galladay have a big game. I actually, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I posed the question, which I'm going to ask you guys here because I really do think that it's an important question. Who leads this team in receiving yards today, and who leads this team in rushing yards? My short answer, I believe that Kenny Galladay will lead us in receiving yards today. I think that if Darius Slayton can't have that game, which I think that he can, I think that Kenny Galladay definitely steps into that fold and really takes advantage of their number two corner because Kenny Galladay, look, you pay that man $17 million a year, you got to get him involved. That has to be your number one target, in my opinion. I do also agree with you, Nate, that if the Giants play Kyle Rudolph, they should play Evan Ingram side by side because I think that Kyle Rudolph, we saw that nice chip block on Chase Young. So we know that the blocking is there. He hasn't looked too good so far, but Evan Ingram has to be involved in this offense. He can easily stretch this field for us, and I think that's the difference maker right there. We have to push the ball down the field, and that's really what I want to see. I want to see the New York Giants be aggressive today. But to go back to that question, I have Kenny Galladay leaving us in receiving yards, and I have Saquon Barkley leaving us in rushing yards. I don't want to have another game where Daniel Jones is leading us in rushing. When your quarterback is leading you in rushing, that's an issue, especially when you choose Saquon Barkley at the number two spot. I get that he's, coming off the injury report. I get that, he's coming off this injury. But with you getting taken off the injury report, man, that tells me that you're full go. You're full go, and that tells me that you can take the carries. So I definitely do think that not only should Saquon Barkley be involved in the running game, he absolutely has to be involved in the passing game because when you look at the linebackers that Atlanta has, they are not good. They are not good at all, especially in coverage. So I do think the New York Giants have to take advantage of that in any way that they can. Um, I actually like your answer, Nate Talk Sports. I think that Sterling Shepard can have a big game as well. I actually have him at about 80 to 90 yards for this game, which is pretty solid considering that he's looked like our best receiver so far this season. And I know a lot of people have him primed to have a career year this year, and it's definitely looking like it. So, again, New York Giants, we have to be aggressive this game. This is probably going to be the worst defense that we faced so far, without a doubt. Um, when you look at the Denver Broncos, they have a top five defense. Washington, I thought, was highly overrated. I had them as a top 10 defense, but a lot of critics and a lot of analysts were saying they had the best defense, and we were able to throw across them. We were able to run on them. So there's no reason why the New York Giants shouldn't be able to do the same against this offense. Against this defense. But let me know what you guys think below. Who leads us in receiving yards? Who leads us in rushing yards? Now, if I could give a score prediction, I actually have the New York Giants winning. You ready for this one? 31-17. 31 points is what I have the New York Giants getting. I really do think that the New York Giants make it a point of emphasis to not only leave this game with the W, but I think a convincing W. I think that we're seeing this offense take strides. I think that with how we saw them play in week two, if Daniel Jones could have a game just like that, maybe not on the running aspect, but on the passing aspect, because he should have had damn near two passing touchdowns, two rushing touchdowns. I can't see the New York Giants scoring less than 28 points. Now, if I'm wrong about that, the New York Giants still win, it's all good. But I just don't think the New York Giants should come out with an L from this game. And I do think the New York Giants should score at least 28 points. I like your score predictions, Nate. 24-7, man, the New York Giants would have pulled that off. That is more than a convincing win. I will tell you that much. That is more than a convincing win. So you won't hear me complain about that, man. But we got to win this game, man. We got to win this game for Eli. We got to really do something this season because the Giants were primed to have a very good season this year, at least by some people's standards. I know some Giants fans had us between 8 to 9 wins. You got some Giants fans like myself that had us at 10 wins. And I still am sticking with that. But the only way that they're going to get to 10 wins is if they fix the mistakes that they're having now. And they can't play conservative. If I'm Joe Judge, I can't be preaching that we're going to punch you in the nose for 60 minutes and then call a conservative game. You know what I mean? It's not how it works. But I do think that defensively, this game will step up. Excuse me, defensively, this defense will step it up this game. I do think the defense will come along. I'm not sure why they're playing this soft shell zone. I don't expect that for this game. I want to see them play more man. And if they are going to play, zone, bring back what you was doing last year. What you was doing last year, yeah. I mean, that Ben but don't break defense was solid, but the defense really held its own. And this year with this soft cell zone, it's not working. If I'm a guy behind the computer screen and I can see it's not working, I mean, as a coach, you should be able to really see that. 9-8 is not a bad score prediction, Nate. I think that's very fair. Look, I had us 10-7. So I'm not going to be upset with 9-8. I do think that at least 9 wins does win this division. I'm not fully sold on Dallas, considering that they have not only a couple players suspended, but a couple players injured, and by the time we play them, those same players won't be active, such as DeMarcus Lawrence, such as Lyle Collins, who's a right tackle, which if you guys didn't hear, that was a crazy story. He missed 7 drug tests and was caught trying to bribe a one of the people that do the drug test, which is insane. That is insane. So yeah, uh, right now let's take this week by week, guys. Atlanta, coming for you, man. This is Eli Manning's day, baby. Look, this is Eli Manning's day. I got Victor Cruz on today, but shit, Eli Manning day. I'm very excited to see what the New York Giants will do today. Let's get this dub. Let me know your thoughts below. Follow us on Twitter. I'm probably gonna go live during the game. We're gonna see about that, but definitely I appreciate you guys stopping by. Um, Follow us on Twitter. Leave a like below. We'll see you guys in the next video.